Welcome back, future business leaders and commerce students. So, today we're going to try something a little different. I want you to literally step right into the shoes of a newly appointed HR manager at a rapidly growing, super competitive company, right? You've got the fancy title, you finally snagged that corner office, but now you actually have to build the team that's going to drive the company's success. No pressure, right? So, how do you actually do it? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down the exact real-world strategies that top-tier organizations use to plan, attract, and hire absolute world-class talent. All right, let's dive right in. Here's the game plan for today's explainer. First, we'll look at planning the future workforce. Then, designing the perfect job, followed by strategies for attracting talent. After that, selecting the best candidate. And finally, overcoming modern HR challenges. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1. Planning the future workforce. So human resource planning, or HRP for short, is basically the fundamental process of forecasting future requirements. It's all about making sure you have the exact right number of employees with the exact right skills available at the right place and, of course, the right time. Picture this. Your retail company is about to open, say, 50 new stores. If you don't plan ahead, what happens? Absolute chaos. You're either going to face massive employee shortages on opening day, which is a nightmare, or you'll end up hiring blindly and eating massive overstaffing costs. So HRP is really the bridge between your organization's big picture business goals and the actual humans doing the work. Now, how does this actually work in the real world? It's a clear process. First up, HR analyzes the organizational objectives, basically asking, where is this business going? Second, they take an inventory of current HR. Who do we already have in the building? Third, forecast demand and supply, meaning who do we need versus who's actually out there in the job market. Fourth, identify the gaps between what we have and what we need. Step 5, develop action plans to fill those gaps, like launching a massive recruitment or training drive. And finally, Step 6, you've got to monitor and control the whole thing just to make sure the plan is actually working. You know, different business scenarios demand totally different forecasting methods. For example, if you're doing a workload analysis, you're focused on the sheer volume of work. Think of an e-commerce company hiring extra delivery staff just to handle the crazy festive sales rush. But if you're looking at business growth, you're focusing on expansion, like a supermarket opening 20 new outlets and suddenly needing a ton of cashiers. Or consider technological forecasting. If your manufacturing firm is automating its production line, well, you aren't really hiring traditional assembly line workers anymore. You're going to need robotics engineers. The key takeaway here? You absolutely have to match your forecasting method to the reality of what your business is doing. Moving right along to Section 2, designing the perfect job. Okay, before you even think about hiring someone, you absolutely must conduct a job analysis. This is the systematic process of collecting, studying, and analyzing all the information about the duties, responsibilities, and skills required for a specific job. Think of job analysis as your absolute foundation. I mean, you can't just go out and hire a software developer if you haven't first figured out whether they need to write code in Java, Python, or maybe both. If you skip this, you're basically just paying someone to stare at a blank screen all day. Now, it is incredibly crucial that you don't mix up these two concepts. A job description, or JD, focuses entirely on the job itself. It outlines the title, the daily duties, the reporting structure, and the overall working conditions. On the flip side, a job specification, or JS, focuses completely on the person. It's essentially your ultimate wish list for the perfect candidate's resume. We're talking their educational qualifications, their specific technical skills, and their personal attributes. Just remember, JD is the role and JS is the human. All right, let's jump into Section 3, strategies for attracting talent. So here comes the million-dollar question for literally any HR manager. Where do we actually find these qualified people? Do we look inside our own building or do we need to look outside? You essentially have two main routes here: internal versus external recruitment. Internal recruitment, which means giving someone a promotion, transferring them from another branch, or just asking your current team for employee referrals, is honestly fantastic. Why? Because it's usually way cheaper, way faster, and it's highly motivating for your staff. But you can't always hire internally. Sometimes you need external recruitment. This means visiting university campuses, leveraging job portals like Naukri or LinkedIn, or hosting walk-in interviews. This is how you bring fresh, innovative talent into your organization and really build up your employer brand in the market. And you know, occasionally, HR managers just need a little third-party help. Recruitment agencies can massively reduce your workload. Let's say a pharmaceutical company needs to hire a highly specialized senior-level executive. They might actually outsource that incredibly sensitive search to a dedicated agency that already has the exact right connections in the industry.
Okay, moving on to Section 4, selecting the best candidate.
So you've got a pile of resumes. Here is your chronological selection process to find the right fit. First up, screening. This is where you rapidly review applications against your job specification just to eliminate unqualified candidates right off the bat. Next, tests, where you assess their actual skills. Then we have interviews. This is where you really evaluate their communication and their cultural fit with the team. After that is verification. You always want to double-check their past employment and education to avoid any recruitment fraud. And finally, the offer, issuing that formal letter with the salary and benefits. Every single one of these steps acts as a deliberate filter to reduce your hiring risk and guarantee an objective, fair selection.
Let's talk a bit more about those selection tests. They are absolutely vital because they replace subjective human bias with hard, objective data. Whether you're using an aptitude test for problem solving, a live coding test for a developer, a psychometric test to gauge someone's personality, a language test to assess communication, or a hands-on trade test to see if a technician can actually safely operate a piece of machinery, these assessments prove without a doubt whether a candidate can truly do what their resume claims they can do.
So once a candidate actually survives that whole gauntlet of tests and interviews, we reach the final phase. First, management gives their final approval, based strictly on merit. Then, the formal job offer and appointment happens, locking in the contract. But step 3 here, it is so crucial, joining and induction. Look, finding the right person is really only half the battle. A strong, welcoming induction program that explains company policies and provides that initial training, that's what gets your new employee comfortable and productive as quickly as humanly possible. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, overcoming modern HR challenges. Let's be real, finding the right talent today isn't just about posting a job ad. It is a full-on strategic battle. You're constantly fighting against severe talent shortages. Think about IT companies battling over a tiny pool of qualified AI engineers. You're also battling incredibly high recruitment costs. And you're battling the clock, because if your selection process takes too long, top-tier candidates will literally just drop out and go join your competitors. On top of all that, if your company has poor employer branding or a bunch of negative online reviews, talented people simply won't even bother applying. And speaking of costs, this is exactly where your recruitment budget vanishes. We're talking advertising expenses across job portals and social media, massive selection and testing costs, and those hefty external agency fees. Seeing it all laid out like this really proves the golden rule of HR. Retaining a good employee is infinitely cheaper than constantly paying these massive costs to hire new ones. So to actually survive these modern challenges, HR is undergoing a massive digital transformation. The old way of manual recruitment, having an HR associate literally read through 2,000 physical resumes, is slow, it's expensive, and it's super prone to human error and delays. But the new tech-driven approach, it utilizes sophisticated applicant tracking systems, AI-based screening, and data analytics to automate all that heavy lifting of resume sorting. Basically, this technology frees up HR to actually focus on high-level strategy rather than just drowning in paperwork. Okay, so how do we actually win at this? Well, here is the ultimate playbook used by award-winning HR departments. First, they build an incredibly strong employer brand using things like social media and authentic employee testimonials. They implement a rigid, structured selection process to ensure total fairness. They meticulously track their success using data-driven metrics like time to hire. Crucially, they prioritize diversity and inclusion by using cutting-edge techniques like blind resume screening. And above all else, they make sure to provide a positive, respectful candidate experience for every single person who applies. And that commitment to fairness really brings us to a powerful reality. Recruitment absolutely must follow employment laws and equal opportunity policies. Hiring decisions should always be completely free from bias based on gender, religion, caste, or disability. Period. As an HR manager, you aren't just filling empty desks. You have a profound ethical and legal responsibility to foster a workplace that is genuinely inclusive, strictly compliant, and aggressively fair. Which brings us to one final critical question to leave you with today. As a future business leader, how will you use data and AI to predict your workforce needs before a crisis even hits? Human resources is no longer just an administrative back-office task. It is the very engine of corporate strategy. If you can master this, you won't just build a great team, you'll build a legendary company. So keep learning, keep planning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.